My name is Arden Armstrong.
My name is Brian Croach.
My name is Mr. Babick.
My name is Sarah Snyder, and I teach music at the senior high and the middle school.
I've helped and worked with 7th and 8th grade, but worked with everything else, both different levels of jazz ensembles, the freshman band when we used to have that, our symphonic band, our concert winds, our wind ensemble, all the different levels of audition groups here.
Actually, I've had the blessing of having taught all of the bands minus Jazz Ensemble 1. So my first year I started here, I taught 7th and 8th grade band. And then after that, there was some shifting around of positions, and at the time we had a freshman band, so I co-directed that. And then eventually I was one of the co-directors for our concert winds, wind ensemble, and symphonic band. And I've been one of the directors with the marching band since I started here. And then as far as jazz ensembles go, I did the middle school jazz ensemble for about 11 years. And this is my second year doing jazz ensemble too.
I moved to the area in 1981 with my family. So I went to school at CVE, Evans City, and then ultimately went to school here at Seneca Valley. My band director was Robert Matchett Jr., and then my friend and co-teacher, Robert Matchett III.
So please welcome Mr. Robert Matchett to the stage. This is Ross Ford's original picturesque musical depiction of winter called Winter Rhapsody.
So when my dad took over, he took over as Zillionople and Evans City high schools merged. So Seneca Valley was the marriage of Zillionople High School and Evans City High School, and they were bitter rivals. There was some bad blood between the schools, and so he had to be very strong-willed his first couple of years to force the kids to get along, because some of them didn't want to play in the same band with people they didn't like, but it worked. And I remember him telling me a story. I think it was his second or third year of teaching. They were playing, I don't remember what school it was, in a football game, and whatever the other visiting band was huge. At that time, Seneca was a growing district, so the band was still pretty small. And whoever the other band director was came up to my dad and just said, like, I don't know you, but I'm just telling you, you just keep doing what you're doing, because from last year to this year, the growth in the band as far as the improvement is remarkable. And that was a really big compliment that my dad needed to hear at that point in time, to keep him motivated to like get through the first few years that were going to be tough and make the program into what he wanted.
Working with Mr. Matchett as a high school student, he was incredibly intimidating. Not necessarily always in a bad way. He was such a detail-oriented person. He taught character in band and how we should act as people in addition to how we should act as musicians. And his level of detail and demand was one that made you want to work hard. And then when he did compliment you, it meant everything.
Oh, my group of friends, we always had tons of respect for the Seneca band students. We were always so impressed with how many of them would be at honors festivals. At the time, Mr. Matchett, his father was the band director at Seneca when I was in high school at Newcastle, and everyone knew Mr. Matchett and had lots of respect for him and the kind of program that Seneca Valley was and still is.
It was cool because as a little kid, I was going on band trips. I remember some really unique situations. I remember going to Atlantic City with the bands back when I was 4 years old, going to football games on the band buses when I was really young. My dad giving lessons in our basement to some of the high school kids and looking up at them and being like, man, someday I want to be like them. And then when you're kind of in it, it's like, oh, I guess they weren't as old as I thought they were. I'm glad that I was experiencing something I wouldn't have changed. As the district got bigger, we had numbers to sort of evolve it out into 3 different bands. At one point, when the district was smaller, it was one band, grades 9 through 12. And then there was a 9th grade band and a 10 through 12 band. When I was hired, it was 2 bands. It was a 9 and 10 band and 11 and 12 band. So then I changed it to an audition wind ensemble, a 9th grade band, and a non-auditioned concert band. So we had a freshman band, a concert band, and then the audition wind ensemble. And that stayed like that for probably, I'm gonna guess 15 years.
If you started in band in 4th grade, you went all the way through your 9th grade year with just people in your class. For many, many years, that was Mr. Matchett and Mr. Armstrong that co-taught that. And then we had a band called Symphonic Band, which we still have now, but at that point in time, it was sophomores, juniors, and seniors. It was non-auditioned. And Mr. Matchett and Mr. Armstrong did that, and then Wind Ensemble always had existed since I've been here in the form that it's in right now.
Several years ago, we started conversations about how could we make that situation a little bit better. Because depending on how many 8th graders came over from the middle school, that band could vary in instrumentation. Sometimes it would be fantastic, and other times you did not have enough instruments to really play a lot of different kinds of music.
Since I started, the district has instituted the Cyber Arts program, and because of that, we've now added classes such as individual musicianship, and now, one of the biggest changes is that 7 through 12, all of the concert bands are team taught. The aligned approach of what our philosophy is and what we want the Seneca Valley Band to be, that hasn't changed.
Mr. Croach, just by nature of how that hiring went about and what we did with positions, there was a little bit of shuffling that went around, and actually Mr. Croach ended up taking Mr. Babbick's old job, more or less. It's been really cool because it's a new set of ideas, a new set of approaches to teaching, which has made it a lot of fun.
We're just always looking forward to, as a band staff, being able to talk and have fresh ideas.
One of the most special things about the band program here at Seneca is that we all, as staff, work together. And from when we meet instrumentalists in 7th grade, all the way through till 12th grade, there's this continuity of people to work with the students.
I'm Cord Snow. I graduated from Seneca Valley in 2022. The entirety of high school I was in concert winds, and from my sophomore year to my senior year I was in jazz too. I've kept in touch with most of my friends from the band program, as they were pretty much all of my friends from high school.
Both of my children went through Seneca's band. So it was kind of cool to get that perspective from being a band parent and having my kids go through the program and knowing what the program was like, but also being a teacher and knowing the other side of that.
But the thought process of being a band director and having my kids perform somewhere else on a Friday night, and I wasn't going to be able to go watch them, that I didn't want to do it that way. And so even though I knew it might be hard to have my own kids in the program and what that may be like and whether there's favoritism or how the other students view my kids, and to me, being able to see my kids enjoy the things that I enjoyed at the school that I graduated from far outweighed those other negatives.
There's definitely times in my life I wish I would have went to high school at Seneca. I came from a much smaller school and got to do the PMEA events and got to see the Seneca side of things. That's a hard statement to say for sure, because I definitely also had positive experiences in my own high school. But knowing the value and the excellence here, that's why my wife and I moved here, because we wanted our kids to go to Seneca.
I would describe the SB band as just one big family, and we just help each other out if you need it, and it's just super fun because you get to do what you love, and there's just so many different opportunities to be a part of it.
I would describe the SB band as a great opportunity because everything that we do is so cool and so unique, and I know one good example of that is I'm part of the mini marching band project, which we did in the fall, which mainly consisted of we played in the morning on homecoming week.
I would describe band as an opportunity to grow as like an individual in a group setting.
Seeing all the friends that I've made.
The people, because it's just such a good community.
I get to see all my friends and stuff.
The Seneca Valley Band's made my life better because it has given me a lifelong group of friends that are just not just colleagues, but when I was a student in the band, some of those great friends that I made then are still my best friends now, even as a old man now. I can't even call myself middle-aged anymore. You know, as an old man, they're still my lifelong friends.
I definitely plan to retire from Seneca Valley. This has always been a goal of mine, to be able to teach at Seneca Valley, and I came from a program that I really enjoyed, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I would have never left that program except for the opportunity to come teach here at Seneca Valley.
Yes, I do. I do plan on staying at Seneca until I retire. It's kind of funny. Mr. Babick has a joke with me that I'm not allowed to retire until he does. Don't know if I'm going to make it quite that long.
If I had anything to say and I could predict the future with a crystal ball, I'd look down the road and still see me here at Seneca for sure. I can't foresee a reason why I would ever want to or would need to leave this. It would be a great place to finish up a career.
I have no plans of not retiring being a band director. That's definitely what I would like to do.
This is my second full year at CD.
Were you sad to leave the main campus, even if it was the right decision for you?
Yeah. It's given me the opportunity to work with amazing students, to watch them grow and build their careers in all sorts of fields and be successful. And now down here with these little kids, I'm getting to teach the kids of my students. And it's so neat to like look in the eyes of some first and second graders and see their moms and dads that I taught and like just the love that I had for their parents, and then like that like immediate love you have for those kids into. It's so cool. It's so cool.